reactor. I just react. If you know, don't interrupt me. If you know, man. But anyways, today I'm gonna be reacting to Percocet Fentanyl recovery story. Pretty. That's his name? For real? Or is that his nickname? Is that his real name or his nickname? I don't know. But all I'm gonna say is I ain't never in my life ever taken Percocet. And it's because I have a fear of pills. Don't judge me. I just think I'm a choke on it. I don't think the water helped for real, okay? I don't. I really don't. People just I remember one time I had tried to take an ibuprofen pill. And I just had it sitting on my tongue, and it would just start dripping all on my eye. Like, yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. Nah, I'm playing. But nah, for real. Like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. But nah, hate it if you hate it. Like it if you like it, man. And subscribe to me. Like, show some love. Show some support, man. But without further ado.
All right, Pretty.
Yes, sir.
Pretty, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Cape Verde, Africa. Most people have never heard of it. It's a small country, 10 islands, west coast of Africa. But then I immigrated to Boston when I was about 7 years old. So I would like to say that I grew up in Boston, but I'm still very tapped in with my culture, Cape Verde.
You had mom and dad?
I do. I'm very close with them. Mom got remarried when I was like 2, and dad's a rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
He's in U.S. or
rock and roll.
Currently, right now, he's back home in Cape Verde. I think my dad has like probably 14 kids.
14?
My mom has 3.
Wow, what you need? 14 kids? You're 14? What?
But I'm close with both of them. Like, my siblings like to think that I'm my father's favorite. I like to think that too, if you ask me.
How was your childhood?
My childhood was, I grew up in a 3-decker house in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and on each floor was an uncle and aunt. So it was like big family, the 90s, just a lot of, before the technology, I feel like family was more united. So there was a lot of that weekend vibes and stuff of such.
Really?
How far did you go to school?
I went as far as college, didn't graduate.
He say that, and I'd be like, I think they hated each other more back then. I'm just saying.
Dropped out. Went to college to kind of make my mom be quiet. Like, your son's made it. And that was a shit show. But now I'm currently in school.
What did you want to do with your life?
What did I want to do with my life?
That's what he asked.
When I was... So, real quick, I lived in New York for a little bit with my uncle. He was a bishop. He's a bishop. And at that time, when I was under his care, my dream was to be a bishop or a pastor.
Really?
But that changed. I don't know. That changed, and then for one point, my dream was to be the El Chapo of Dorchester. My dreams changed a lot.
Is that the direction?
Time out, bro. Bro went from I don't even know what he said for the first name, but the second thing, that got me.
Kind of took.
Talking about El Chapo, bro. Man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Let that leave, man. Leave his name out of it, bro. I'm so tired. Bro, El Chapo this, El Chapo that, bro. Fuck El Chapo! Respectfully. And then I'm like, bro, people is on El Chapo dick like everybody on LeBron dick. And he lost! I ain't think, you know what's crazy? Since we talking about the game, just get a little off topic. I ain't think he was going to actually lose. I wanted him to lose, but I didn't think he was going to actually lose. I thought bro was going to prove me wrong. And bro, I actually watched bro lose with my own eyes. I was like, what? I was for sure they was finna go overtime. I'm like, LeBron ain't finna let this happen. And then he tried to do his patented, It didn't work out, though. Dang, man. I said, nah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy.
the direction that my life kind of took. I think by the age of when I was like maybe 16, I had moved back to Boston, and I like to feel like I looked up to the dope boys. There was this one particular guy I'll never forget.
He called him.
My brother had a shop. My brother Peter had a shop, and this guy became his partner, and he had a Cadillac Escalade. And it just, wow. And that drew me towards him. And eventually, he introduced me to a lifestyle. I started, at an early age, I think I was in high school, I got into fake money, uttering. $100 bills. What they were doing, we were bleaching $5 bills and scam printing $100 bills on it. So you get right through with a pen check and everything.
Oh, straight like that though. Oh my gosh, straight like that. Wow, never in my life. Bro said they was making fake money. It wasn't even real. Wow.
And so in high school, I was already making good amount of money.
Fake. It was
that
fake.
Didn't last too long. I ended up picking up a case from that. I was the first one that they had caught with that money. So from Boston to Florida, they had tracked about $2 million, and I was the first one that they caught with that money.
Wow.
But I just went to buy some stuff at the store, and after I left, they tracked the plates of the car, and the girl that had rented me the car called me like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" The feds already had swarmed her mom's house. Her brother ended up getting locked up. It was bad, you know. That case, my family
he don't never make fake money again after that one.
Hired one of the best lawyers, and for what it was, I think I got a slap on the wrist. And it was my first case, so it was nothing, you know. I was still in high school.
It was for counterfeiting?
Oh, it happened in high school too, bro. Bro was making fake money in high school, bro. Dude, I was stressing over homework and classwork. Like, what are you talking about? It's crazy.
You know?
I was stressing on who was coming to pick me up after school. Like, when they gonna be here? Where they at? I'm ready to go. I'm sick of school. I ain't trying to be here. This heavy book bag that I'm carrying on my back after school, bro. I swear I used to have my book bag on my back after school forever, bro. Forever. I had to put it down sometimes, man. No, I'm just saying, that's crazy. While I was, stressing about nothingness, bro out here making fake money. Fake money, and then he got a slap on the wrist for making fake money. Man, wouldn't have been me. Put me up there talking about Stefan making fake money. 30 years? What you mean? What? 30? Wow. Bro lucky. He lucky. God saved his ass on that one.
Yeah, I definitely got into other stuff quickly well. I got into the weed game. That went well for a while. And then little by little, I just always think big and big and bigger. And a good friend of mine, we'll call him T. T was going to Miami, and he said, let's take a drive out there. And we took a drive to Miami. Within a day, we ended up walking into some Cuban connects. And then now, at this point, we're trafficking marijuana and other type of drugs into Boston. There was 3 of us in the car. I was with 2 felon friends of mine, and I didn't have no license. I was not even an American citizen then. And we're on 95, 28 hours from Boston to Miami, pick up, drive back down. Now that I think about it, I was courageous because I could have faced deportation if I had got caught up. But you're young, you have this dream, and the dream is to be this big, successful drug dealer. So you're gonna put your all into it.
Y'all know what's crazy though? When I seen, is it just me, or do he kind of look like Nipsey though? R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle, man, for real. But He low key do kind of look like Nipsey a little bit. Cause at first I was like, bro, he looked familiar, man. You know how you always see somebody, bro, and you be like, man, they look like somebody, man. Why I feel like I seen it somewhere. I was like, oh, that's cause bro look like Nipsey, but yeah, R.I.P. Nipsey though, for real. That shit was crazy when I heard that happen. I ain't never like made no video about it, but I had seen all that stuff, bro. That stuff was crazy, man. But yeah.
And I feel like that's what I started doing at a very early age. I was not even 20 when I started doing this thing.
He wasn't in.
That
He wasn't
turned
in,
me
bro.
into a person. Like, I built a persona around me. I had this image of I get money and I'm rock and roll. So I was in nightclubs Thursday to Sunday, a lot of women, and there was just this image, you know. This was when Lil Wayne was out. I was a big fan of Wayne. My cousin Tito named me Pretty when I had moved from New York. And then when Wayne came
I was going to say that, bro, too. Like, I just have to admit, out of all names they could have gave you, out of all names, bro, they could have called you the Black Hammer. What else? They could have called you the Big Macho Man. I don't know, bro. I'm just coming up with stuff. Don't judge me. They could have called you anything else, and they came up with Pretty. I'm just saying, bro. That's. My nickname can't be no Pretty. That's crazy.
Call himself, I believe, Weezy F Baby. So I became Pretty F Baby, and it was a whole persona, image around it. It was good for a while, you know. And then I had gotten into a motorcycle accident when I was in vacation in Cape Verde. And when I came back to America, I had surgery. That was probably like 2006. And the doctor sent home a 17-year-old. I had Vicodins and I had Percs. And I don't like to point the fingers at anybody on how my life went because America didn't have the knowledge.
You never. That's one thing. I'm glad he said that, bro. You don't never point the finger at anybody else for something. No, you take accountability for where you were wrong at, bro. Don't ever point the finger and be like, bro, it was them. They gave it to me. No, but you took it though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he said that, bro. Always take accountability, bro. Accountability is probably one of the most important things. Taking accountability is how you grow. If you don't take accountability, you'll never grow. You'll always stay in the same place. Brain, you're gonna be a hamster running around on a wheel in the same place, going round. Don't never go nowhere, bro. I'm telling you, better start taking accountability for your actions, man. You better listen to him. Better listen to him and listen to me.
And that started something in my life. It opened something in my brain because the feeling that I got from that pill, it was a feeling that I never had and I never thought was possible. It's as if I found the magic pill. I was always comfortable with myself. My ego was boosted. I could talk to any girl. I can do anything. I felt like I'm like Superman once I take this pill. And little by little, you know, I would dibble and dabble. And next thing you know, I'm catching myself going to the ER, lying about back pain. And then having one of my girls go and lie about back pain. And like I said, then America did not have...
Bro was coming up with any idea. Anything.
How did you go to the ER with a back pain? They'll send you home with 512.
Bro say he went to the hospital and had him and his girl talk about back pain. And they ain't even had no back pain, bro. That stuff is serious, bro. My dad got back pain, bro. That's not something to joke about, bro. That's not something you just play around with. Because then when you get older and you really have back pain, it ain't going to be no joke then. You know, like, nah, bro, you can't be.
About 15
That's
pills.
Serious, bro.
Fast forward, I end up getting my feet deeper and deeper into the drug game. And at my highest point, I would be able to sell about 1,000 perk 30s at a time. Like, it went fast. We would go to Miami, and Miami had the pain clinics, MRI. These are stuff that's
of course Miami.
You could Google it and find all this information out. You would get an MRI, you go to pain clinic, and then you get a script for 30 milligrams. Now, you do that with about 8 different people. You're flying them out. You're doing all that. It's like legally trafficking. I had a saying that, how did it go? I did the wrong things the right way. You know?
Nah, see, bro, I was on your side for a second. You know what I'm saying? We were doing so good for the last however many minutes. I don't know, because I'm in the way of the moving the cursor, but we were doing so good until now. No, I do not like the way he put that. That is terrible. Do not, no, do not follow that, please. No, do not do the wrong things and say it was the right thing. No. No, that's backwards.
Getting on a plane and a girl has a script with her name on it. You're going through TSA. It's like taking candy from a kid. But with that, my addiction started progressing. And it progressed. It took a long time. It took about, for me to go, there was a point where if I had a perk on a Monday, I'm like, oh, I'm going clubbing on Thursday. I could just leave it on top of my account and not touch it. But eventually you want that feeling all the time. And then it went from being able to save a perk to not being able to start my day without a 30. So when that started happening,
yeah, that's how addictions work.
I was good with all of it because I was able to afford my addiction, you know? And then things, you know, the Fed started cracking down on the pain clinics in Miami. And you start dealing with other people. And I was getting packages, still getting the 30s. The prices had went up, and still getting 30. And then one particular time, I had got a batch. The things looked funny, but whatever. When I took it, I started throwing up. And then I'm like, what is this? But then I got super high. It's like I'm getting that feeling on perks, but on steroids. And I didn't really like it, but I enjoyed the high. I didn't like the side effects of it, the throwing up, because it was very strong. But I kept doing it. And then my connect and...
What? Bro! Man, I could never, bro. I don't understand how people can deal with, bro. I ain't going over throw up, bro. If weed made me throw up, I would not smoke. I promise you, bro. I do not like that, bro. That is so irritating, bro. I was like, 2 months ago, whatever I was doing, drinking Hennessy, whatever my goofy self was doing, like, I was sitting there, and, you know, when I was coming back home and I was throwing up, I was just asking myself, like, what in the world? Like, it didn't make any sense to me, but, I ain't never drink nothing after that, though. But, like...
sending me another batch that I ended up taking, I think, 2. It didn't touch me. It was 2 perk 30s. It didn't touch me. Ended up taking like another 4. It didn't touch me. I think altogether within a span of an hour, I took like maybe 12 perk 30s. Didn't touch me.
12?
I remember I had gave a kid a few of those bad ones, and I said if he had them, he said, yeah. I went back and switched it, and come to find out, those was the perk 30s that was pressed with fentanyl. You know.
Bro, no. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me he hurt this kid.
Fit perks. And that began something that made me lose my morals. That began something that made me strip from myself. That began something that today I'm able to identify as an addict. That began, that made me become a person I no longer knew who I was.
Wow.
The counterfeit 30s, it opened something else in me, you know? I mean, I'm going really fast, but, you know, I was a married man, you know? I was a man that always dressed well, very well spoken, very well known in the community, regardless of the lifestyle I lived and what I did for a living. But I was not like this big gangster dude or anything. I got money in the streets. I hung around with the gangsters, but so I always kept a good image for myself. I mean, in Brockton, Massachusetts, I was friends with the mayor. I frequent restaurants in the
Wow.
Cape Verdean community that I knew everyone. The fentanyl stripped me from all of that. I am a divorced man today because of fentanyl. And the thing with fentanyl is...
Bro, am I tripping? Bro, did somebody just laugh? Dude. Damn, we ain't even close to Cause, bro, the only time I can, like, actually go back is when it get, like, close to half. Cause my screen is literally in the way. And I don't like moving my screen over though.
dangerous because you keep compromising. You keep going lower and lower and lower. I'm not an addict because I don't shoot it. I'm not an addict because I don't smoke it. I'm not an addict because I'm not stealing. I'm able to afford my high. So you just keep negotiating with yourself, almost, to kind of give yourself that reasoning for why you're doing the things you're doing. Towards the end, at my low point, I have an uncle, Chalet, and he was the one person that, no matter what, you know, you have those family members that they're not knowledgeable with addiction, so they become an enabler unintentionally. This is what this uncle was to me. Towards the end, he was the one person that was housing me. I didn't become homeless in the streets, per se, because of my family's ego. You know, what is the people going to say? But I was a homeless man. I didn't have a place of my own. And that one person that was housing me, at this point, I used to smoke cigarettes. He would buy me a pack of cigarettes every day. Because of my addiction with fentanyl, I started stealing from him to get my fix. So all those things that I said I wouldn't be, little by little, I ended up opening that side of me. And you get to this low point in your life that when you look back at the lifestyle I had made for myself, the name I had made for myself, and you look back and you ask yourself, how did I get here?
Nah, for real though.
It's so much easier looking on the outside. Like,
for real. Like, he's not lying. He is not lying. I ask myself that every single day. Not a day goes by that I don't ask myself, how the fuck did I get here?
Doctor's fault, or it was the Connect's fault, or it's these people's fault. I don't know whose fault it was. I really don't. I just know that I wanted help and I didn't know how to get out. I became suicidal because of fentanyl. And I was a person that enjoyed life. I was life of the party. I was a person that traveled. I go back home to my country, Cape Verde, and I'm life of the party. I'm a people person. that magic thing that I talk about that I got from the perks, it made me more sociable. So, fentanyl made me isolate. It gave me that same feeling that I would get from a perks, but on steroid. But it came with a hefty price. In my deepest addiction, I didn't take showers for 4, 5, maybe 6 days.
No, that's crazy.
I'm the type of person you couldn't pay me enough to drink from someone's cup.
Crazy. I gotta take a shower.
I didn't shower for like days.
How, bro?
I no longer cared about the way I looked. The best way I could put it, I became a slave to fentanyl. And when my master called, I answered. I didn't care what cost.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, fentanyl. It took everything from me. Everything. I'm the type of person, when I walk into a nightclub, the owner knew who I was. I'm the type of person that's very well connected. I'm the type of person that a family wouldn't make any major purchase without consulting with me. Cars, houses, they wouldn't without consulting with me. Because of fentanyl, the same family, I was no longer allowed in the house that I consulted them in purchasing. I was no longer allowed to even use their cars. That's what fentanyl did. You know? It stripped me from society. And that thing that I talk about, that I'm not an addict because I don't steal. I started stealing towards the end. So how am I not an addict? I am an addict. Because my behaviors, my morals was done for. I've overdosed over 3 times from fentanyl. I remember one particular time my mother was trying to help me. Because, you know, I don't come from a family that addiction is a common thing. I don't come from a place where people are knowledgeable on even how to help someone like that, you know? So my mom flew from Cape Verde to her son's aid. How can I help my son? We went to her friend's house, and we called a detox. And this detox said, well, we're kind of full, but if you go to the hospital across the street, they basically gave me hope. Go to the hospital, shows you really want it, we'll take you in through the hospital. So me and mom went to the hospital. I remember there was a little bit line. I went into the restroom. I came back out. I did a line of fentanyl. And I overdosed in my mom's arm in that line. I can't even begin to imagine what that woman went through in that second or minutes, watching her son just collapse. Fentanyl, I was such a slave to it that when they revived me with Narcan, I noticed I still had my socks on. I went back to the bathroom, went in my socks, got a fentanyl, did another line. You see, I was the type that I attempted to stop. But I'm the type of addict that when I start, I can't stop. And if I stop, I couldn't stay stopped. That's the type of person.
Right, it's like
I became because of my
addiction. It's like a stop sign. It's like that's all it be. You stop, but then you go again.
Fentanyl, it takes everything from you. And I was in a low point in my life that I didn't even think that I would be able to pull myself out of that situation because of fentanyl. And then, you know, in the beginning, I was able to try to maintain an image somewhat. Buying from people like, yeah, these are for my runners. These are for whatever. And then it went from me being able to buy 200 grams to, at that low point, 2.5 grams.
Wow.
The type of drug dealer I was, people knew that I'm not buying no 2.5 grams for one of my runners. I remember an early addiction. My ex-wife would look into my eyes with my son in her arms. Pretty, can you just stop for us? I would look at her and tell her, yeah. And I wasn't lying. There was something in me that just couldn't let go of fentanyl. And I had a wife that was supportive of a lot of things.
That's crazy. I said that. I was like, your addiction becomes like your best friend. It's like a hand you keep holding. You don't want to let go of that hand because you don't know what could happen.
She's brought me to detox. She's picked me up from detox with my pills. But that's not what she signed up for. When she noticed that I'm keep going lower and lower, I wasn't giving her any hope. She finally said she was done. Because of my ego, like, what are people in the community gonna say? I end up like going back to Cape Verde. I'm done. There's no opiates in Cape Verde. I'm good. But I did go with fentanyl, of course. I went with about 40 grams, and that lasted me about a month. And then I ended up getting some Suboxone from some people out here. They sent it to me. And I was good. I ended up detoxing myself, and I was good. So now I'm on the island, living the good life. Drinking, a little cocaine, a little this, Molly. All I did was substitute one thing for another. My mother came to me like, what do you want to do with your life? I'm like, what are you talking about, Ma? She was like, people in our country will give a left arm to immigrate to America. You letting go America to come be here? I was embarrassed of the mess I had left behind. People's going to say that my ex-wife used me for papers because I had married her and brought her to America. So I was always the victim, So I didn't want to face that music. So I continued staying in Cape Verde, and let's just say I was doing things in Cape Verde that was a little bit too big for my island. And I come from a very well-known family, so my mom's like, you have to stop this. This can't continue going this way. This is not America. My stepfather's a lawyer. My mom's a very well-known woman, So I finally decided to come back to America. Here I was, separated from fentanyl from a year and no opiates. Took about 4 days. I did a fake perk, of course, with fentanyl in it, and a Xanax. After I had sniffed cocaine the whole night, the way my mind worked, it's like the only reason I did that cocaine because I'm going to have a reason to have to come down. That reason is my weakness, fentanyl. I went out after I did that Perk 30, the fentanyl pill, and the Xanax. I was with my friend, my childhood best friend, June. He didn't know what was going on. He doesn't understand that thing. For him, I was just sleeping. And then he started smacking me. He noticed that I'm not sleeping. And he panicked. Tried to wake me up, couldn't wake up. He carried me from the second floor apartment and put me in the car and drove me to Boston Medical Center.
Now that's a friend.
When I woke up, I'm like, how did I get here? The doctor said that it was a miracle. I hadn't had oxygen in my brain for like 35 minutes. Family members calling, what's going on? Oh no, make up lies. Make up lies. My brother Peter had gave me an opportunity to work with him in his company. He owns a moon bouncing company. And he also does Airbnb in Boston. And he gave me the keys to the Airbnbs. I'll go clean it. Like, opportunity was given to me. But because I had this addiction, nothing I touched can ever turn into anything good. I lost my brother's trust. I was using drugs in one of the Airbnbs. So it's so easy for when I was in that deep addiction for me to be the victim. But I was never the victim. Because my family all tried and tried and tried. You know? And then you would think that it's because someone comes from a broken home that they ended up on drugs, or they didn't have the support or the trauma. Yeah, that could be it, because they might be escaping from that. I don't have the answers to why. Because how was some kid brought up in a home, grandparents in the house, that 90s love, you know? A lot of people coming over, ended up here. So, I don't like to point the fingers. Because my uncle always taught me that when you point the fingers, you have three pointing back at you. But in my addiction, I pointed my whole hands because I was the victim.
Wow.
Low point, twin size mattress on the floor in my uncle's 1-bedroom apartment in Brockton, Massachusetts. Stealing money from him to get a fix. Not taking a shower. Not able to afford cigarettes. My uncle, Bishop Angelo, came from New York. This is during COVID. It was kind of weird for you to see people come visit you. Like, what are you doing here? Like, everyone was the enemy. He sat me down. He said, I can't watch you throw your life away like this anymore. God has a plan for you. He's like, I spoke to some people in Phoenix, Arizona. There's a program there. You go there for a year. I was willing to do anything at this point. I took that. When I went to Phoenix, Arizona, the program was not a good fit for me. My childhood best friend that I mentioned earlier, June Freedom, he lives in California. And, you know, being an addict, I know how to manipulate. Coming from the lifestyle I've come from, I know how to maneuver and get people to think what I want them to think. And I called him. I said, my family sent me to this place. It's a cult. This, that, and the third. He's like, bro, you're not an addict like those people. I said, you're right. I'm not an addict like those people. He's like, you don't need rehab. I said, I don't. He said, you are an hour flight from California. He's like, you are a hustler. You will stay with me for 3 days and you'll figure it out. I am a hustler. Because of fentanyl, I didn't have no more hustle in me. I remember I went to Denny's. I ended up meeting a random person, and I asked him for some perks, and he said like this, and I seen 5 blue 30s, the fake ones. I grabbed that, and I grabbed probably another 10, booked my flight, told my family they are the enemy. I am done with them. How can they send me to that place? I'm coming to California. I had never been to California before. June picked me up at the airport, and he picked me up, him in Chanel, and everything was good. You know, I had a little bit of money. I had put some money away. So, you know, when you have some type of financial cushion, you kind of like don't even pay attention to your addiction because I'm able to afford it. I had never scored drugs before because in Boston, I was a well-connected individual. I started walking June's dog within an hour of me being in his apartment.
Wow.
Go, come back. I was walking the dog every 3 hours. It took June 24 hours to find out the extent of my addiction, that I am a full-blown junkie. I came through like a thunderstorm. He was getting ready to release his music, and it was just bad timing. And his main focus was me. I was supposed to stay with June for 3 days and then get an Airbnb for a month because I'm a hustler, figure it out. And then I ended up connecting with a cousin that I didn't even know was out here, but I knew she kind of might have been out here, Anika. And I told her, you know, I lied by omission. Our family sent me to Phoenix, Arizona to go change my life. He's like, our family? Why would they do that? Like, I don't know. They sent me to a place that's a cult. She's like, what's your plan? At June, I'm going to get an Airbnb for a month and figure out, oh, no, none of my family's coming to California. He's like, she said, I have an in-law apartment in the back. You could stay here. Right there, all my problems got removed. No longer had to worry about getting a place. Oh, to top it off, she gave me a key to a 2020 BMW X5.
Oh.
I was big chilling. It took Anika about 4 days to find out something is wrong with her cousin. And little by little, one day I remember I pulled up to the house. I had just did Xanax and a fentanyl pill right before I hopped off the highway. And then all I can remember is waking up with the car running, and I looked at the clock. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. My cousin Anika's in her robe, like, what's going on? Oh, no, I fell asleep. You know, just afraid of what she's going to think for me to open up and say I'm on drugs and I'm strung out. So you just keep lying and lying and lying and lying. My good friend, June, had met an individual, and he remembered that individual had been sober for 33 years. June called him up, and he said, sure, bring this guy over. I go over. The guy started talking to me into a language that I finally understood. It's a person that had been through what I've been through. At first, I'm thinking, I'm going, okay, whatever. He said, you have to go to detox. You have to do this. You have to do that. I said, okay. My back was against the wall. I had no more hustle left in me. I'm across country. I had never been to California. My cousin Anika's basically done with me if I don't get this right. My back was against the wall. And I took that option. I went to detox. I don't even know where. I woke up the next morning like, how did I get here? Fentanyl withdrawal. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy. Diarrhea, nauseous. You don't want to eat. You want to crawl out of your skin. And all you could think of, that there is something out there that can fix this like this. That's all you could think of. No matter what the nurses is telling you, honey, it's going to be okay. You just know that there's something there, out there, which is fentanyl, that can make all that disappear. I managed to thug it out. And then I went to the rehab that my mentor, the guy, he ended up actually being my mentor today that June Freedom brought me to. Gil suggested I go. I went to a place called Chabad in Miracle Mile. But I was always used to doing things my way. I had some challenges as a client at Chabad the first 2 months. It's a 3-month program.
3 months. That'll get you right.
So once you remove the drugs, you remove the alcohol, you still have this person that has put a lot of things in the Pandora box for years. Now all these feelings, emotions is coming up. My family's not talking to me because I left the place that they sent me to go get saved. My mother's in Cape Verde, Africa. I'm across country. So I have all these feelings coming up. And I have to deal with these feelings. And the one way I know how to deal with these feelings is that magic pill.
Man, bro. Man, that's crazy. That magic pill, man. That magic pill.
But that was no longer an option, at least then. Because I had a bird's eye view of my life when I was in rehab. I see it clearly where and how I ended up where I ended up at. And it's something I didn't want to go back to. How do you go from being the most popular kid in high school? What did 50 Cent say? Damn, homie, in high school you was the man, homie. What happened to you, homie? Fentanyl made me feel like that line was written for me. Scrolling through Facebook, watching people that you went to high school with become homeowners.
Wow.
Married, businesses.
Nah, bro, you know what's crazy? It'd be the key for me, man. I swear, bro, they all do that shit. It's always the key, bro. Telling somebody to get an apartment, they gotta take a picture of the key. Bro, I'm not doing that, bro. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, bro, you gonna know if I got an apartment or not, bro.
California, in a rehab. And then you would hear people's stories. And that they've been sober for 5 years, 10 years, and how much better life has gotten. Start to have some type of hope. Because I know it's there. I know what happens once I touch fentanyl. But I've never experienced here this sobriety thing that people speak of. I've never experienced it. I've attempted it a few times, but my definition of sobriety consisted of detox, go home. I just thought I was never good enough, so I always fell back into it. I just thought that's how it was. Looking back, the drugs were really never my problem. It was a solution.
Wow.
I was escaping from something.
Bro, hey, man,
Still
bro.
don't know what I was escaping.
He need a quote or something, man. Somebody need to quote that.
Oh, by the way, but I know I was escaping from something.
Bro, funny, bro.
I did 4 months in rehab, and then they suggested sober living. I went to sober living. What is it? I didn't know. You have curfew, you go to work, you do this, you do that, you wait for them. Looking back, it's teaching me how to live again and live a normal life. It's something that I didn't know what it was. A normal life. Normal life is get money, travel, beautiful woman. Normal life today is completely different than what I thought normal life was. I've been sober 2 years and 7 months from fentanyl, from any mind-altering substance. Thoroughly sober.
That's great.
A lot of people ask me how I did it, or
You just did it. Cause it's that simple. You just do it. You just do it.
because those that either have family or personally are affected by fentanyl knows it's nothing easy. So they're always interested in how I did it. Because of fentanyl, whatever I touched led to destruction. My ways of doing things led to destruction. Doesn't matter what I touched. I attempted to live a legitimate life back in December 2019. I ended up manipulating my Indeed application. I ended up getting a job as the account general manager at Logan International Airport. When I throw on that suit, I'm a dangerous individual. I oversaw over 100 employees. Because of my addiction, that was stripped from me within like a month and a half. So it didn't matter what I touched. It all was equal to nothing. I'm across country. I don't got a family I can like go on their couch. My back was against the wall. I started taking direction. I finally came to the conclusion that my way would never work. I live a lifestyle that I never began to imagine. You tell someone, what would you want your life to look like? How would you want your house? What kind of car you would want? It's like, oh, I want a mansion with a pool. I want a Ferrari. Why? Because they've seen it either in movie or in passing. I have a life that I never dreamed of. A sanity. That's what I mean. Not the materialistic stuff. The peace of mind. When I lay my head down on the pillow, I pray and yallah, I'm good. I could be able to fall asleep. I didn't have that, I think, since I lived in New York with my uncle. Maybe when I was like 14 was the last time I had that. My mind, it was like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee was always playing, fighting up there. Because of sobriety, I have that. Fentanyl has brought me to places I wouldn't even go without a pistol. Sobriety has brought me to places I never even dreamed of. I work in the industry now. I freelance. I do intensive therapeutic session in different rehabs, different IOPs, different detoxes. People tell me that they're inspired by me. The life I dream.
I ain't gonna lie, man. That hit, but I'm out, man. Catch y'all in the next.